Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to dive into something that so many of us have been taught to believe, that struggle is the only way to succeed. We're going to talk about the path of least resistance and really uncover why it might just be the most powerful, not the laziest, way to create the life you actually want. So, let's get into it.
Our whole culture seems to glorify the struggle. We hear quotes like this one from Thoreau, and we start to internalize this really powerful and maybe a misleading idea that taking the easy path is for the lazy, the weak, or people who are cutting corners.
I mean, we've all heard no pain, no gain, right? It's so baked into how we think that we often wear our hustle and our burnout like they're badges of honor. And this creates this deep belief that if something doesn't feel incredibly hard, well, we must not be trying hard enough. But what if this entire way of thinking is just flawed? Today, we're going to flip this whole idea on its head. We're going to see how choosing the path of least resistance isn't about avoiding life. Actually, it might just be the bravest and most aligned path you can possibly take. So let's start with a really big shift in perspective. Real resistance isn't about the stuff happening outside of you. It's not your boss, it's not that tough project. The real resistance, the stuff that truly holds us back, is an internal friction. It's happening inside of us. From an energetic point of view, resistance is like internal static. You know that feeling? It's the friction you feel when your mind is just locked on the absence of what you want. It's that feeling of pushing and fighting against your current reality, and it's a feeling generated entirely by your own thoughts and emotions. The famous psychologist Carl Jung absolutely nailed this. He understood that wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. So when we actively fight against something, we're literally pouring our energy right into it, making the very thing we're trying to get away from even bigger and stronger.
Okay, to make this really tangible, let's use a metaphor. I want you to just picture your life as a gently flowing river. This river has a natural current, and it is always moving you toward a state of well-being and towards your deepest desires.
Now, when you try to control every little detail, when you try to force things to happen, or you're just operating from fear, it's like you're in a canoe paddling furiously upstream against this powerful current. It is exhausting, and you don't get very far. But when you learn to trust and to allow, you can turn your boat around and just float downstream. You let the current carry you effortlessly toward everything you want. So, how do you know which way you're pointed in this river? It's actually super simple. Your emotions are your compass. Negative feelings, frustration, anxiety, that feeling of overwhelm, those are crystal clear signals that you are paddling upstream. And positive feelings, joy, excitement, clarity, that's your confirmation that you're in the flow. You're moving with the current. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. This whole idea of being downstreaming isn't just some spiritual or metaphysical concept. It actually has a powerful counterpart in the world of psychology. Scientists have a name for this state of optimal, effortless performance. They call it flow. And the data on this is just staggering. Studies have shown that when we're in a state of flow, that feeling of being completely in the zone, our productivity can increase by as much as 500%. That is a 5-fold increase just by getting in alignment with our natural state of peak performance. And if you look at this, whether you call it the scientific flow state or the metaphysical view of alignment, the core principles are exactly the same. The words are different, but the experience is identical. Less self-doubt, laser-sharp focus, a sense of joy. It just drives home this critical point. Feeling good isn't an indulgence. It is the foundation of peak performance. And the benefits don't stop with productivity. Research in positive psychology has shown that when you're in a positive emotional state, your brain just plain works better. I mean, look at these stats. Our problem solving gets a boost, our attention span improves, and we make decisions more than twice as fast, all because we feel good. Okay, this brings us to a super important distinction. Following the path of least resistance is not about being passive. It's not about doing nothing. It's about shifting from the grind of forced effort to the effortless power of inspired action. One comes from fear and lack. The other is born from clarity and joy. They feel completely different. And the really good news is, this is a state you can actually cultivate. It's a practice, and it starts with simple, conscious steps. Just accepting where you are, observing your thoughts without judging them, staying open. See, this isn't about passively waiting. It's the active practice of releasing resistance. And sometimes the true path of least resistance can look incredibly bold from the outside.
Things like quitting a job that drains your soul, or saying no without feeling guilty, or setting a firm boundary. They might seem hard, but on the inside, when it's an aligned action, it feels like the simplest, clearest, most freeing choice you could possibly make.
So, let's tie all of this together. The old story we've been taught insists that progress has to come from struggle, from pushing and fighting our way forward. But there is a much more effective, a much more joyful way. True, sustainable progress isn't about just one thing. It's this beautiful synergy of all these elements. Letting go of what isn't working, trusting that inner guidance, and then allowing that trust to bubble up into clear, inspired action.
So to bring this out of the theoretical and right into your life right now, I want to leave you with a question. Just take a second and honestly ask yourself, what is one story, one belief, or one struggle that you can just let go of today to invite a little more flow into your experience?
And please, always remember this. The path of least resistance is not the path of least results. It is the path of your greatest alignment. In the universe, the flow of life itself responds to your ease, not to your struggle.
Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. If you're ready to go even deeper and you want to learn some practical tools, including a powerful guided meditation to help you find your own downstream current, you can find the full episode on vibrations and manifestations. Until next time, trust your flow.